Hi, my name is Mike. I'm with Keller Williams Real Estate. Did your neighbors mention I'd be coming to see you today?
No, they didn't.
Okay, no worries. So the reason why I'm here is because 849 Durant Court right down the street, it just sold and it went for $40,000 over. So I just wanted to see if you had thought of buying or selling real estate in the next year or so.
Yeah, we've thought about it. We're just not sure if now's the right time.
Got it. Okay. And uh what part of the market is making it not a good time for you?
We just feel like there's no homes on the market, and we're just not sure where to go if we sell our house. We don't want to be homeless.
Yeah, I understand that. What sources have you been using to look for homes?
We get on Zillow, Realtor.com, and then just a
Okay,
local like Craigslist.
got it. And how much do you know about Zillow and Realtor.com?
Not a ton, not a ton. They have a lot
Okay,
of homes on there.
yeah. So Zillow and Realtor.com, they're both lead sources, and pretty much what they do is they sell leads to real estate agents. There will be some homes up there that sold 5 years ago. Real estate agents, and you'll call that home if you want to buy it, and a real estate agent will answer and they'll say, "Oh, this home already sold," and then they'll sell themselves and try to get you to use them as their agent. And so they're not really accurate websites, but that doesn't really change the fact that there's not a lot of inventory in our area right now. There's 3,255 homes in our area of Pennsylvania. Um, oh, shoot, hold on one second. So the key factor into getting into homes is you have to be quick and aggressive. I'm stumped. I forget where I go here.
There you go. You're good. You're off to an awesome start. I mean, you're literally doing my pitch verbatim so
Yeah,
far.
no, I memorized that one from YouTube.
That's awesome. Good. That's exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, like, dude, what am I going to critique this guy? And he's saying my pitch. I can't tell him to do
yeah,
anything different. But I think let's go into this and dissect it. I'm going to send this off to my computer because I think what happens here is you get into a point where you're like, I'm not sure where to go, and you kind of
mhm.
corner yourself.
Where I
So
would have gone was I would have talked about my value of knocking on doors and how I create inventory and how you have to be pretty quick on getting into homes. That's where I would have gone, but I forgot what to
so I
say.
think your biggest thing is you stopped asking questions. And once you
Yeah,
stopped asking questions, you were toast.
yeah,
Right? Would you agree?
hmm yeah. When I started telling you all about Zillow and Realtor.com.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's good to go into that. I'm sharing my screen with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and start playing this, and then let's chat through it and see, what you guys are thinking. So go ahead. You guys hear that? Okay. Hey man, how can I help you? Good.
Hi, my name is Mike. I'm with Keller Williams Real Estate. Did your neighbors mention I'd be coming to see you today?
No, they didn't.
Okay, no worries. So the reason why I'm here is because 849 Durant Court right down the street, it just sold and it went for $40,000 over. So I just wanted to see if you had thought of buying or selling real estate in the next year or so.
Yeah, we thought about it. We're just not sure if now's the right time.
Got it. Okay. And what part of the market is making?
Okay, a couple ways you could have went there. What is your time frame? Right? But what you said is fine. That's not going to hurt you at all. What isn't that's holding you? So essentially, you're asking what the objection is. One thing that you could get to, though, quicker is if you even ask at that point. And you guys, these are all going to be different. So it's hard to say as we role play. I want you guys to understand, even something I throw on YouTube, if I'm role playing with you and they say something different, I'm going to coach you differently than what I'm doing without a role play on like a YouTube or that's why you can't have a script that is good for everybody. But as I'm role playing with you, as I listen to this, I would ask the question, what is your time frame? When do you think is going to be good for you? And if they say a year, they say 6 months, that gives me a time frame to work on. Why do you think 6 months? Now they're going to give you the same objection that they gave you before, Mike. But I also now have a time frame that I can now work with later on in my presentation that's going to cause me to be able to close them quicker.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's keep going.
Good time for you.
We just feel like there's no homes on the market, and we're just not sure where to go if we sell our house. We don't want to be homeless.
Yeah, I understand that. What sources have you been using to look for homes?
We get on Zillow, Realtor.com, and then just a local like Craigslist.
Got it. And how much do you know about Zillow and Realtor.com?
Not a ton, not a ton. They have a lot of homes on there.
Yeah, so Zillow and Realtor.com, they're both lead sources. And pretty much what they do is they sell leads to real estate agents. There will be some homes up there that sold 5 years ago, real estate agents, and then you'll call that home if you want to buy it, and a real estate agent will answer and they'll say, oh, this home already sold, and then they'll sell themselves and try to get you to use them as their agent. And so they're not really accurate websites, but it doesn't really change the fact that there's not a lot of inventory in our area right now.
So be shorter on that. Okay. So
Yeah.
they're lead sources. They're trying to sell real estate agents, people like you that are looking for homes, because then they can represent them, and they're using a false advertisement to do so. Stop. Now on to the next. Right.
Yeah. When I was saying that, I was like, this isn't working.
We went a little bit too long on that, but let's keep listening.
3,255 homes in all.
So then I go back to, yeah, you're right. Inventory is very short. There is 2,327 homes, whatever you said is perfect. But what you don't understand is how many homes are selling every day, or what most people, you don't want to call them out directly by saying, you don't understand something. Yeah. Most people don't understand that there's tons of homes selling every day, even with a small amount of inventory. And then you could pull up statistics. How many homes are going on and off the market every month? It's not 2,000, because most people see a 2,000 number and they're stuck on 2,000. They're like, oh, there's no inventory in our area. But in reality, I bet you sold 7,000 homes last month. There's just 2,000 active listings. But what's the average days on market in your area, Mike?
Average days on market, and well, in the neighborhood that I was doing, it was 4.
Okay. So there you go. Just say, hey, are you familiar with how many days the homes are staying on the market? And they're going to say, no, not really. In just this area right here, average is 4 days. So that means you've got a bunch of homes that are coming off the market same day. So you're not even seeing those if you're not getting into an area where, they're coming to you directly, or, other lead sources in which are more accurate. Because if you're waiting on Zillow doesn't update anything. So you're missing a bunch of those anyway. Now, where are you going to go? Let's see where you take it from here.
Area in Pennsylvania. Hold on 1 second. So the key factor in getting into homes is you have to be quick and aggressive. I'm still, I forget where I go here.
There you go. There you go. You're off to an awesome start.
So there's we go. I mean, so that in reality, yes, that's where I would start going into. So the key factor, and see how I explained it ahead of time. Hey, there's 2,000 homes in the market, but that doesn't mean 2,000 homes are selling. There's a lot more homes selling. You're just missing those because all you're seeing is the active homes on the market, right? But we're actually selling 7,000 homes or whatever your number is a month. So what that tells us is you've got to be quick to react. Are you available that you could look at a home the same day it comes on the market? I'm going to find out how serious they are. Yeah, we are. Cool. So the best thing that we can do is get you to where you're getting accurate information as fast as you can. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about some things that I'm doing that also gets you in front of more listings prior to the other public. So how many agents have you seen knock on your door? I'm out and aggressive looking for listings that are off market. And if I know what you're looking for, I can go into those neighborhoods and find the exact thing you're looking for prior to it coming on the market. How do you think that could benefit you?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So say you do everything perfectly. They're interested in the fact that you are going to find them a home by door knocking. They think that that's a pretty good value that you have. Are you closing that on like them agreeing to tell you where they want to move and then you go knock that place? Is that like is them just being like, oh, we'd like to go here, and then you go and knock in that area that they told you about? Is that like where you're trying to get at in that conversation?
Absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
you tell me, Mike, if you had a buyer and they're wanting to buy in the Hickamore subdivision, and you go find a seller in the Hickamore subdivision and you get 3 commissions or 4 commissions, is that worth it for you? Because if
Absolutely.
you go find a buyer or seller in Hickamore and they give you a 6% listing commission and you've already got the buyer, and then you're going to sell their home, that's 4 commissions off one deal. So
Mhm.
absolutely, you're going to be aggressive and go find that house. And when you knock on the door and you say, hey, I've got a bunch of people looking to buy in this neighborhood, you can honestly say, I've got a lady right now that will buy in the subdivision. She just can't find the home she wants.
Yeah.
It's true. Which gives you all the more energy to go push harder to find that listing, because you're going to get 4 deals out of it.
Yeah, that's the best value you can give too.
It
I
is.
feel like, yeah.
It is. So then you're going to go further with more questions. So do you want to role play that again?
Sure.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to pick on somebody else. Who else is in a seller's market? Anybody else in a seller's market? Anybody raising their hand that want to get picked on?
Yeah, seller's market. Sure, let's do it.
Seller's market. Who's talking to me?
I'm trying to turn my camera on. Oh, there we go. Chris, it's Chris Maltese.
Chris. Sweet. Chris, let's
Yeah,
dive in. To
I'm
give
in
me a
Los
seller's
Angeles,
market
so things are still
pitch.
going above above market. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hey, sir.
hi, how you doing? My name's Chris. I'm with Realty Investment Advisors. Did your neighbors tell you I'd be stopping by?
No, they didn't.
Okay, no problem. Well, I'm in the area. One of our neighbors just actually sold their 2-bedroom, 2-bath for 620,000. It's actually the highest one to sell in that size right now. And I'm just letting people know what the prices are going for and seeing if with this current market, if you thought of either buying, selling, or investing in real estate.
We've thought about selling, but the market's crazy and there's no inventory.
Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot. Where if you guys did sell, where would you guys want to move to?
Would probably move closer to Long Beach.
Down in Long Beach? Yeah. And then how long have you been thinking about this?
Oh, we've been thinking about it for a year, but man, the prices are just nuts.
Yeah, I understand. So is the price the main thing that's holding you back right now?
It's mainly finding something. I mean, and that's probably the big kicker is the prices are high and people are buying, and you're getting a lot of people from out of state moving here. And so there's no inventory and prices are really high. So I'm not sure how it all work out for us.
Yeah. And have you sat down and kind of gone through, what the next payment would be and how much higher it would be for you? Have you kind of gone through the numbers?
Oh yeah, we've gone through the numbers. I mean, it won't be that much higher, but it'll be enough higher that we would need to get the most out of our house. And then I need to find something that would work for us there.
Yeah, absolutely. If I could show you a way to make that happen, and actually, one of the things we do specialize in is finding properties for clients. I'd say the average in our industry for an agent actually locating the property themselves is about 1%. Because I'm out here door knocking and talking to owners like yourselves, and we actually go into the neighborhoods where folks that we're working with are looking, we actually tend to find the property about 20% of the time.
Great.
So that's one thing that we do. I don't know how many agents you've had come door knock your door, but we're out here actually doing the hard work. So that's one thing that we bring to the table. If we could find the property for you and then, go over the numbers and show you that it's feasible, would you be in a position to make a move?
Yeah, I'd be very interested.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. I get terrible Wi-Fi out here. Do you mind if I hop on your Wi-Fi and we kind of see what's on the market right now for you?
I mean, I've looked over most of the markets. I don't know what we're going to find in there that would make different than what you're seeing. But yeah, if you want to keep me in touch of anything that's new that pops up, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can do that. We just kind of want to go over your criteria a little bit. It's warm out here. Do you mind if we step in for just 5 minutes so I can kind of learn a little bit more about what you guys are looking for, and then I
Sure.
can actually go find that property for you?
Sure.
Okay. And then I guess if once I get inside, then we kind of sit down, go through some criteria, and then I'm not really, so I know for your perspective, it's really just getting them excited about looking and not so much about trying to sign any agreement or anything, right? So,
Yep.
okay. And
So-
then, go ahead.
Let's go through this a little bit. So obviously, dude, you're selling real estate. You're doing a good job. If you go through and I want you to listen to this because there's a lot of key points that we can dissect on this. How many questions did you ask me?
Not as many as I was expecting to.
Okay. And then secondly, once you got a yes, if you can find it for me, did you just close and call it quits? Or did you move forward after the first initial yes and gather more information on why it's going to be beneficial for them?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. It all kind of went faster than I was thinking, and I probably should have slowed it back down and done more information gathering. Because I mean, when working with Jeremy, I kind of have it broken into 4 modules. One's kind of like the initial information gathering. There's a bunch of questions there that I normally go to, and I
Okay.
feel like somehow I ended up skipping past a lot of that.
Okay.
So yeah, for some reason it seemed to move quicker than.
So, and we're going to dissect this really, really detailed. So guys, this is going to be awesome. I love what you did, Chris, because this is so important for most agents to see, because you're a sharp agent and you were able just to just move forward. But what I'm going to teach you today is going to help your closing ratios go through the roof.
Right on.
I gave you 2 different objections, right? And you touched them, but you really didn't solidify or close me on them in order to move now.
Mhm.
And we went way deeper into all of them. So our whole pitch was 3 minutes. Now, with a pitch that's 3 minutes and you get a yes out of me that, hey, I'm ready to work with you, send me houses, step inside my house, gather my information. What typically happens to that type of personality is you don't hear from them again after a week. And how many of us as real estate agents have had the client that give us the yes, we feel like they're so solid, and then we get ghosted? The majority of us. I mean, every one of us have done this. And the reason this happens is because we don't solidify them in the approach. You went 3 minutes. You did not give them enough meat and potatoes to get them full. You gave them a little bit of dessert, a couple spoonsful, and they're like, oh, I like this. But Chris isn't my guy. Because as soon as that sugar wears off, they're hungry again, and they're going to start looking with somebody else, right? So you've got to get them a full, complete meal on what you do that's different, why they need to do it now, and sell them on you, right? So let's dissect this. I'm going to go through it and just really beat the puke out of this, and let's do that.
Hey, sir, how can I help you?
Hey, how you doing? My name's Chris. I'm with Realty Investment Advisors. Did your neighbors tell you to be stopping by?
No, they didn't.
Okay, no problem. Well, I'm in the area. One of our neighbors was actually sold their 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $620,000. It's actually the highest one to sell in that size right now. And I'm just letting people know what the prices are going for, and seeing if with this current market, if you thought of either buying, selling, or investing in real estate.
We thought about selling, but the market's crazy and there's no inventory.
Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot. Where if you guys did sell, where would you guys want to move to?
Would probably move closer to Long Beach.
Let's ask that question. Do we care where they want to move to yet? And you can go there. I mean, it's not a horrible thing, but what's most important at this point?
I guess more the time horizon and the motivation of why that they want to move.
Right.
Find their why. Yeah.
So the why they want to move, and number one, what's probably most important to me is what they feel like about the market. Because I said market, you guys catch that? I said the market's crazy and there's no inventory. So by me saying that to you, Chris, what am I meaning by the market's crazy?
I guess more or less when people are saying that, they're probably thinking it's too much for them to achieve what they want to achieve. There's too many challenges, I'm guessing. They just feel like it's not possible.
Okay, so at that point, that's where we got to get them to tell you exactly what's not possible, because in their mind, it's not possible, right? The market's too crazy and there's no inventory.
Yeah.
But without us knowing and having them verbally tell us how to close them, We don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So my first question when I said, hey, the market's crazy and there's no inventory, it's like, tell me what you know about the market. That's where I'm going to go, because I want to know exactly what they think about the market. That's going to open up into a whole plethora of questions and training and motivation to help them sell right from the start.
Okay.
Okay, we're 47 seconds in. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, I'm driving. I've been logging in and off and on. I'm about a reception. But when you ask that,
When I asked that question, what?
what do you think, Mark? I don't know.
George, we didn't hear that.
Like when you ask them, what's going on with what's your interpretation of the market?
Okay.
And they say, I don't know. I don't know. Like, how do you bear with that ignorance of, I don't know? I'm like, well, what do you think happened 5 years ago?
So dumb it down for them again. At that point, if they say, I don't know what's wrong with the market, which is very dumb on their part because they're saying, hey, the market's crazy. Well, tell me what you think is crazy about our market right now. Because they just told me the market's crazy, so they have to have a reason behind it. And so I'm going to dumb it down a step further and make them tell me why they think the market's crazy. Because they sound like a complete idiot if they say, hey, I think the market's crazy. And it's like, well, tell me why you think it's crazy. It's like, I don't know. They can't. They got to come up with a reason why they think it's crazy, because it's a personal opinion. They told you they thought it was crazy. And when they start telling you why they think the market's crazy, that gives you the same information that you wanted to get anyway when you ask them, so what do you know about the market?
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, let's keep going. So first of all, I would have started there by listening to exactly what I was giving you. You always have to make sure you listen to what they give you and then run with what they give you, because they're going to tell you every time how to close them. Okay.
Long Beach, yeah. And then how long have you been thinking about this?
Oh, we've been thinking about it for a year, but man, the prices are just nuts.
Yeah, I understand. So the
So then you got my area, Long Beach. Okay. And I said prices are nuts. Okay, so now I'm bringing up a second objection. Well, I'm bringing up the market objection again, essentially. Market inventory, but I'm talking about prices. So what questions could we ask about prices?
I guess I could try to narrow it down and say something like, when you say prices are nuts, you know, what does that mean to you? You know, how much over? Is it in terms of affordability? Is it in terms of your budget? What does nuts mean to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you say prices are nuts. Tell me a little bit more. And oftentimes they're going to divulge right there, because you want to make these very generic. So when you go into, is it your affordability? That could be offensive. Is it because they don't want to sound like they're poor and they can't afford to buy whatever they want to buy?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So you got to keep these questions very generic to the point where they're like, hey, so tell me what you mean about the prices are nuts. Do you feel like the price is going to go up or down? That would be my next question after. Oh, they're saying, well, they're really high. Did you expect them to drop when rates came down? What do you think is going to happen when rates do come back down? See how I've got a whole bunch of questions that I can now ask about price that are motivating questions to get them to transact now. And you'll continue down that process, asking more price questions to gather more information that once again creates urgency. Because at this point, we don't have any urgency. I'm just sitting here nodding my head to you and you're bulldozing me and I'm going, yeah, this is great. Let's do this, right? And that works often, but it doesn't work with every client. And what I want to teach you guys is how to close every client, right? So by you asking a bunch of those price questions, by you asking market questions, by you digging deep into this, you're going to be able to educate at a way higher level than any other real estate agent is, because they're doing what you just did. Like, well, dude, I can find you a house. I have the best marketing campaign out there, right? I can find houses better than anybody else. National average is 1%. I do 20%, right? So pick me. But there's no meat and potatoes behind all of the whys that they need to do it now with you. And you haven't won them over on a confidence level to say, yeah, I'm your guy, because I just gave you a 30-minute presentation on what our market's doing and why it's doing it and what it's going to do in the future and why you need to move now and how much money you're going to save by doing it now. Does that make sense?
I didn't get a chance to get into any of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
the main thing that's holding you back right now?
It's mainly finding something. I mean, and that's probably the big kicker is your prices are high and people are buying and you're getting a lot of people from out of state moving here. And so there's no inventory and prices are really high. So I'm not sure how it'll work out for us.
Yeah. And have you sat down and kind of gone through, what the next payment would be and how much higher it would be for you? Have you kind of gone through the numbers?
So notice we're still, I'm throwing you all kinds of two objections back and forth, right? No inventory price, no inventory price. Okay. So what we've got to do is we've got to solidify one of them. And you took the option of what was price and you said, okay, what's your payment going to be? So you took a path and said, I'm going to go the payment route. Is it the payment route that matters? Or am I looking at sticker shock going, dude, they're 700,000. They should be 500,000. I'm going to wait till they get to 5.
Yeah, he's probably more on, he hasn't said anything about payments. He's just going on the sticker price of where the market's at.
Well, and you don't know because all I'm saying is price. It could be payments. It could be monthly payment. But once again, Chris, we don't know. So until you know that, you can't just pick a path and run with it. Because my path may be completely different. It could be sticker shock. And I think prices are going to come down.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no inventory, and I think prices are going to drop in the near future. So I'm going to hold off. But you hit, what's my payments going to be? And like a good person that doesn't know what he's doing, I'm going to answer you, and then you're going to move forward. What if you miss the whole objection?
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what happens. Watch this.
Yeah, we've gone through the numbers. I mean, it won't be that much higher, but it'll be enough higher that we would need to get the most out of our house. And then I need to find something that would work for us there.
So I give you an appeasable answer, right? Yeah, it's not going to be that much higher. You're like, sweet, I just won that objection, and you move on. But did you hit the objection that's going to cause them to be closed because they feel like you answered the objection and you taught them everything about the pricing and the market and all of those things to where it makes sense for them to transact now?
Yeah, not even close.
No, you hit the basics on it and move on. Like most agents do. I hate to say this, but most agents, and you're a good agent, right? Most agents don't get to that point to even get to this far. But then I would say once the good agents get the listing appointments, like what you got essentially here, you're essentially giving me a listing presentation. Most agents don't close correctly. That's why they don't get the listings, is they get in and they give this type of a quick, overview, but they don't get down into the meat and potatoes of this. And I know if you sat in a listing presentation rather than do this, you probably would have went about it a completely different way. But I want you to think of these door approaches as listing presentations. Remember, when we knock on a door, you are literally going to close them. So treat it as if you're sitting in a listing presentation and give them all of the information you possibly can to win them for life. Okay, George.
Yeah.
So what I hear you saying is like in this scenario with Chris, where you gave him the one answer, he felt that it was a close, he was going to move forward. You're saying we should at least try digging 2 more, 3 more questions until it really sinks in, and they're telling us to proceed to the next stage before, and then use that as a close.
Well, here's the thing. Chris took a path, which was payment, right? And he got a yes. That's why he felt fine to proceed. But what I'm saying is before you pick that path, make sure they give you a bunch more information on what you're closing them on, right? Because I gave an answer, but that could have not even been close to my answer. That's holding me back.
That was yours. That was the agent's, not the prospect.
So the agent said to me, "Is like, so tell me the difference on payments. What do you think your payment would be?" And he went into payments rather than purchase price or interest rates or is it the monthly payment? And it could have been the monthly payment. We just don't know.
Yeah,
we just don't know.
What should you have asked instead?
What's that, Mike?
What should he have asked instead? What would have been a better?
So as I keep bringing up price, I ask the question. So what is it about price that you're concerned about? Is it monthly payment? Is it interest rates? See how, you guys, you look at this and you go, oh my gosh, that's the stupidest thing in the world. Because it's so easy. All you're asking them to do is tell you everything that you want to know to close them, rather than just picking this path and running with it. Andy, go ahead.
Can we go over how to handle the objection of, oh yeah, like this actual sticker price? Like let's say the sticker price of homes, they're like, oh yeah, they're too high. Because I know you have to ask them where people are moving from, and these are higher income places. But can we just review that one again?
Sure, let's touch on it right now. So let's say they say sticker price. So what's our next question?
Where are people moving from?
A lot of them are moving from out of state. But even
Okay, do you know it's
even before then, Andy, you're now going in to solve the problem. Okay,
Yeah.
let's diagnose it a step further. Sticker prices. Do you feel like, how much do you feel like they're too high? Okay, because I want to tee it up. So if I'm telling you prices are too high, I want to know why you feel like they're too high. And then I'm going to agree with you. Yeah, prices are high. Do you feel like the prices are going to go up or down in the near future? Now I pick up the question so that you can go into where are people moving from and what's driving the prices. But you've got to get those questions into price first so you can tee it up to move into market. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mhm.
So if I'm saying, hey, prices are too high, how high are they? Because I need to know that. Because then that tells me where I need to go, right? So let's use Long Beach. Prices are really high in Long Beach. Prices have gone up a ton. Yeah, they have. So how much too high do you feel like they are? Oh, they're $150,000 higher than I think they should be. So tell me what you think. Do you think prices are going to continue to go up or down? Well, I think they're going to go down. Why do you think they're going to go down? Now I can dive into all of the details. Notice who's doing all the talking.
Yeah.
It's the client. They're telling me all of the reasons that they feel like all these things are going to do it. And then I can ask them more questions to direct them to the right information, because Chris is a baller and he knows it, right? So if they say it's going to go down, cool. Why do you think it's going to go down? It's going to go down because interest rates are so high. Well, interest rates are right now over 7%. How much higher do you think interest rates are going to go? I don't think they'll go much higher. How much of, so tell me this, how much have our prices dropped since rates went from a 4% to a 7%? Well, they haven't dropped very much. There's no inventory. So what makes you think they're going to drop more based on interest rates? Notice how I'm essentially closing them on everything they're telling me, but using them to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not sitting here giving a sermon, because you don't want to give a sermon ever. I want to dive deep into what they're doing and help them be educated through my questions. And I'm going to guide them. I'm going to steer them. I mean, it's like you've got a fish on a hook and you're just pulling it this way or pulling it this way. You're reeling some, you're letting the line out because you want to fight longer. You have to have that kind of control and power over the conversation. And you have zero control and power over the conversation when you guys just sit and talk and give details and pick paths. Mike first. Go ahead, Mike.
So yeah, so really quickly, like when we're getting a complaint like, oh, I think prices are too high, you're gonna go and you're asking them why they think that, but also at the end of everything, you're kind of just explaining to them that they're gonna keep getting higher, and that's why you need to move sooner.
You tell me, you guys are all real estate agents. Is there a real estate agent here that feels like prices are going to go down over the next 15 years?
Yeah, so I guess then yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? How about even over the next 5 years? Are our prices going to crash? Is our market going to crash? If it was going to crash, wouldn't it already have crashed when we went from a 4% interest rate to a 7%? So, and if we're the professionals that know this market is not going to crash, and we know this because this is what we do and we're baller real estate agents, our job and our fiduciary duty, honestly, is to teach our clients not to be stupid and to transact and get into the home they need to get into. You know, and a perfect question to bring up is, hey, if you could buy in LA with Chris and you could have bought there 30 years ago, would you have? And why would you have? Because I would have, you know, $1 million in equity. Cool. What do you think is going to happen over the next 30 years? So if you could buy now and hold it for 30 years, what do you think your equity is going to be then? If we look back over the last 5 years, how much equity has been average across the United States over the last 5 years alone? Average is 264%. Do you want to be part of a huge gain like that? And what would you need to do in order to make that happen? Go ahead, Kurt.
Ask people, how much would prices have to come down for you to make a move? And some people say, oh, 100 grand. Some people have even said half. So if someone says half, is that just a huge red flag that they're not going to be buying anytime soon? Or is it still worth exploring?
No, absolutely. It just means you need to educate them because they've not been taught, right? And so at that point, you're going to ask them, so what makes you think the prices are going to drop in half? What indicators do you feel like there are that are going to drive the prices down that far?
Government spending is what a lot of people think in my area.
Okay. So I agree with you. Our government spending is through the roof, Mike. But is our government spending any worse than when COVID hit? How much did we dump in the trillions of dollars in government spending when COVID was here?
Yeah, I know. I feel like that's why you have to ask, like, you have to really hammer that point home. Like, I think you talked about in a different meeting how like employment rates when the market did crash in 2008 were at 8% and now they're at 2%. Because I think a lot of people think that it's going to be like a belated effect. Like we spent the money now and then all of a sudden in a few years at some point it's just going to crash or in a few like 6 months to a year or something out of nowhere, which is ridiculous because there's no actual signs that say that. But
well, that's why you've got to pin them down, right? So when we dumped trillions into these relief packages for businesses and for all these renters and stuff like that, what did it do to our housing market? Have we crashed? Are we there? And if it didn't do it then, why would what do you think is going to happen in the near future that's going to cause it? Do you see what I'm saying? So now what I'm essentially doing is I'm calling them on the carpet, but I'm doing it in a way that's not offensive, but it's guiding them through the process to say, yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. And you are the professional. George, go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to originally ask, but I just got an aha, like when you were talking that, obviously it's easier said than done, but I'm realizing the more you have at bats, like the more consistent you're at door knocking, the more comfortable you become in asking why, the why, or why do you think that, or can you explain that? Because I'm listening to you and that's all you're simply doing is like saying why, how come, why do you feel this, and what's your interpretation? So we're just like you said, they're going to guide us. We just have to not repeat and approve, but kind of like use their information to ask the next question of where we want to go. And I don't know, it kind of simplified it when we started with Chris and said, what's the main question we have to ask when prices are high? Well, why do you think they're high? And why do you want to move here? Okay. And then, so it's always the why and the how. That's what I'm learning from you.
So, and why do we ask that? I mean, I'm going to turn that right to you guys and give you a why. You see what I'm saying? And you guys are going to,
because everyone has different opinions, right? Yeah.
Everybody has a different way they want to be closed. That's why a solid script doesn't work. And if they don't tell you why, can you close them? No, because you don't know what they want to be closed by. It could be, the government, right? And if you go into interest rates and prices are too high, and I feel like the government's going to cause the crash, I didn't even touch government. That's why you have to know where the client's at all times, right? And you have to listen to what they say and then use what they say to educate them in a way that's going to cause them to, number one, trust you. Number two, feel like you're the most baller agent on the planet. And number three, be ready to transact now because you gave them all the information they needed to transact. And what Chris did was not wrong. I mean, his presentation was great. He just didn't close it, in my opinion, because we didn't get into any of the nuts and bolts of the client, of what their needs are and why they're waiting and what I need to do to solidify them as my client today and get them out seeing houses today, right?
Yeah, they're gonna forget about me as soon as give it a day, and it'll just be a good conversation on a door. That's it.
You're right, Chris, and I hope you don't feel like I'm picking on you, because honestly, you're
No,
doing.
I mean, I've had that the experience too. You have these conversations that seem okay, and you seem to be getting the direction that you're going for, and you're like, oh, this guy's saying if I could find him a spot in Long Beach, he'll do it. And then you find an option in Long Beach, you call them back. A, they sometimes don't answer. B, you leave a message, they don't call you back. You finally get a hold of them 3 or 4 days later, and it's like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, that's great, but blah blah blah, and they're on to another
We decided to hold
excuse
off
or something.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
yeah,
and the deal's closed, right?
yeah. So yeah. So I know from experience too, of like, sometimes you get what you think you're getting, but if you, like you're pointing out, if you're not really digging and you're not really digging into it and finding out their why and their motivation, then it's just a conversation that went well.
Yep,
That's it.
absolutely. And it's a false hope. And you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Is, Chris, you take a guy like that and you feel like you're going to get them a deal.
Mhm.
Oftentimes agents will take their foot off the pedal as well, because they feel like they got one in the bag, right? I just picked up a client. I don't need to push as hard. You know, I'm going to help them buy in Long Beach. They're going to buy a 1.2. I just got a $35,000 commission and I am good for today, right? And then that falls through and it's like, oh crap, now I got nothing and I didn't push harder. And, you know, it's a lot of false expectations and hopes here. Let's keep listening. I want to keep diving into this. You're a minute and 30 seconds in.
Yeah, absolutely. If I could show you a way to make that happen, and actually, one of the things we do specialize in is finding property.
Okay. Pause. If I can show you a way to make that happen, that's a question, right?
Mhm.
Pause. Let them talk, right? Because you keep going, right? If I can find you a way,
Yeah.
we do specialize in this and this and this before you even let them get going on it, because you want them to verbally say, yeah, I would. And then I would start talking about, hey, what's your time frame? If we could find you something, and when these houses come on the market, they go quickly because there's no inventory, right? Are you available to look at homes tonight? If I find that right house, could you get into it in the next 2 hours? And really drive home the yes, because that's what you just asked me. Hey, if I can find what you want, would you want to do it? But then you didn't pause. You kept flying, right? So if you pause right there, and then I'm going to drive home the yes, right? Okay, if you're willing to do this with me, how serious are you? I want to know. Could you look at homes tonight? Could you see a house in the next 2 hours if I find one for you? Right. And by doing that, I'm also showing you that I'm that confident that I can find those homes and that I can get you into homes that quickly. Right. So it's also driving home some confidence in them that I am the best agent on the planet and I can find these things for you. Let's keep going.
Clients. So the average in our industry for an agent actually locating the property themselves is about 1%. Because I'm out here door knocking and talking to owners like yourselves, and we actually go into the neighborhoods where folks that we're working with are looking, we actually tend to find the property about 20% of the time.
Great.
So that's one thing that we do.
So on this, Chris, you're bringing up your value proposition is what? Door knocking?
Yeah, it's basically, yeah, I guess ultimately it comes down to that. But yeah, I'm basically saying I can find it better than most of the other agents, or I'm trying to, I didn't directly say it, but I'm basically showing them I'm putting in more effort than other agents or working harder. I don't know if that came across or not, but
No, it did. It did. I mean, and I got that because at the end you're like, hey, because I'm out here door knocking. How many other agents have you seen? Right.
oh, that's right.
So
You say, yeah.
let's step that into a process. Okay. So if we're wanting to get into this, just say one of the things that I do different than most agents is exactly what you're seeing. How many agents have you seen out knocking on doors? And let them answer that, because that when you make them stop to think about something and then respond to you, it's going to solidify in their brain 10 times more than if you just talk, right?
Yeah, because I'm just telling them I do that.
So
as
you're just
opposed
telling
to
them you
letting
door
him
knock
say
and they're
it.
like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, he door knocks. That's fine. That's good. But they don't sit and rationalize that. Yeah, you're right. How many people have you ever had knock on your door before as a real estate agent? How many real estate agents do you think knock on doors to find inventory in a low market? So essentially, I'm out hunting to find listings for people that the no listings are available. Now, let me ask you this. As far as inventory and national averages and stuff, how many real estate agents do you feel like out there will find a buyer for, the seller? And you brought up that percentage is 1%, because they're going to say, I don't know. You're going to say it's 1%. But by asking them that question, it pauses and gets them to think about it. Once they have to process the question, Chris, it solidifies more in their brain because they had to think about it. When you just told them 1% and I'm 20%, they don't have to think about it. It doesn't process, it doesn't stick. And if it
Yeah, I'm
doesn't
still
stick, guess
telling.
what? You're just still that same dude that's I said, yeah, I wanna buy a house. And if you can find one, great. Give me a call later. I appreciate you. Can I get your card? Right?
Yep.
Go ahead, Mike. You're on mute, buddy.
So about that 1% statistic, in a seller's market where pretty much anything that's going up is getting multiple offers like mine, is that kind of a useless statistic? I feel like if I was like really, if I was telling somebody that like, oh, I'm gonna find the buyer for your house, that's why you should be my agent, they'd be like, well, I mean, everything is selling 40K over and getting like 5 offers anyway. I don't think that's gonna be that hard for you to do.
Okay, so yes, I still feel like it's a huge value add. So in a
Okay.
crazy market where you're getting tons of offers, most agents are going to put a sign in the yard and go back to their office and sit and wait for people to come and call them, right?
Uh-huh.
Tell me the value of having as many offers as you can, Mike.
That's definitely extremely helpful.
Mike, do you feel like you're paying your real estate agent a lot of money to take care of you?
Yes.
Are you hiring them to go out and find buyers for you, or just because it's a buyer's market, do you just expect them to wait and see who calls them?
No, I'm hiring them to do some work.
So you're saying the more buyers, the merrier, right?
Yes.
You know, I'm teeing this up.
Yeah, no, I
One of the
completely
things
get
that I
it.
do different is I'm going to go out and knock the neighborhood and I'm going to find buyers for you. I could have just went in and said, hey, I'm going to find buyers for you 1% out of 20%. You know, here's my statistics. But once again, notice how many questions I teed up prior to even going in to close them.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to teach you guys. Because as you go in there, you can say, hey, a lot of agents don't do that. In fact, the national average is 1% of the time the listing agent finds the buyer for you. I'm over 20%. And that's not even good. I don't even like that number. But I'm 20 times better than most agents. And I want to be better than that. I want that average to go up where I'm actually finding more buyers for you because I want to drive your price as high as I possibly can. Does that answer your question, Mike?
Definitely.
And I see your point in what you're saying. And that's probably what most people are saying. But if you bring it up with the questions that I brought up, see how it changed the whole dynamic of the situation. Can you guys, are you guys capturing this? Why questions are so freaking important?
It's
And
like
why you have to put them in
mind
there.
blowing because it's so simple but so effective that it's like, is it really? I mean, obviously it's a lot of questions, but just I think, like you said, as we get used to it, we'll kind of start coming up with them on our own. But yeah, like how naturally you just come up with these simple questions that like it's like obvious what the answer is, and it leads them right where you want them to go. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Still got a minute and a half left.
The agents you've had come door knock your door, but we're out here actually doing the hard work. So that's one thing that we bring to the table. If we could find the property for you and then, you know, go over the numbers and show you that it's feasible, would you be in a position to make a move?
Yeah. So now you're closing, right? We're saying, hey, if we find this property for you, you're ready to make a move. Okay.
Very interesting.
Okay. Let's take a look. I get terrible Wi-Fi out here. Do you mind if I hop on your Wi-Fi and we kind of see what's in the market right now for you?
I mean, I've looked over most of the markets. I don't know what we're going to find in there that would make different than what you're seeing. But yeah, if you want to keep me in touch.
So what am I telling you right there? Right? If we're reading body language and the person, if I'm saying, hey, can I step in real quick? And I'm like, nah, I'm not ready. Send me, yeah, you find some stuff, just call me. I'll take care of you. Right there should be red flag number 1, that now I'm just kind of blowing you off.
Yeah, it's a brush off. Yeah.
So what do we do at that point?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one to kind of research. Like, yeah, I guess because I didn't really touch on the why, I can't really fall back on something that's important to him or something that he's said. yeah, I guess without going deep enough, I feel like I'm lost in terms of like trying to bring the client back to their motivation or have something to refer to try to re-engage him or to try to work another objection. I feel like I don't really have much to go on because I didn't ask enough questions.
Got it. So it's a lot harder to bring them back. So that's why it's so important to gather all you can at first. Now, one thing you could try to do is just say, hey, sir, just as far as timeline goes, how important do you think it is to make something happen sooner than later for you?
Yeah.
And if they come back with yeah, it's pretty important. Why is it important? Are you familiar with what the market's going to do over the next year? Notice I'm going to try to suck that back in there to regroup and try again a different angle because I screwed up in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to start pulling back in and I'm trying to come back at it another direction. And I'm going to try to recoup because they weren't ready to close and I closed. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then let's listen to where you go from here. So you kind of just blow that off. You're like, oh yeah, just let me step in. It's hot, right?
If it's new that pops up, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can do that. We just kind of want to go over your criteria a little bit. It's warm out here tonight. I can step in for just 5 minutes so I can kind of learn a little bit more about what you guys are looking for.
Sure.
And then I can actually go find that property for you.
Sure.
Okay.
So even at that point, if you get in their house, so one thing that I've learned, and I want to teach you guys this, being door to door as much as I've done, if you get in somebody's house and they're not sold on you, what it does is it takes the level of skepticism from here to here, because they're like, oh my gosh, I just let this person in my house. I don't want them in my house. I really don't plan on buying with them.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to get rid of them now. So their mind shifts to, how do I get rid of them? They're in my house now. And they can't really even focus on anything you're doing other than, let's get Chris out of my house, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
So make sure you don't close preliminary. Oftentimes, I don't ask to get in the home, ever. I want them to invite me into the home. Because if they invite you into the home, guess what? They trust you. And you've sold them on you as a salesperson. But if you're saying, hey, let me in, let me in, let me in, you're right. Getting in the house causes your closing ratio to go up 100%. But if you go in, especially after a little wall came up, hey, yeah, just, I'll give me your information, reach out to me. If you still push a little further to get into that house, there's huge red flags in their brain. The secondary conversation that's happening inside the house at that moment, Chris, is insane because they're just like, yeah, we can't let this guy be in here very long. My wife comes around the corner and I let this guy in that I'm not even interested in doing, real estate with. She's going to yell at me. I don't know, man, no dinner for me for a week, just all the different things.
Yeah.
So be careful of that too. You guys, it's ridiculous. We got 5 minutes left. We've gone over 2 role plays, but I go deep into these role plays for a reason. I want you guys to see the importance of listening and the importance of self-discovery for the client, not for you and for you, but more so for the client of why they're doing what they're doing. And that self-discovery also helps you decide how to close them based off of what they're feeling and their questions. That's why I laugh when people say, oh yeah, I use this script. Dude, there's not a script out there that's going to be solid for every customer. But there is a system in which you guys will ask the same questions over and over and over again as you learn through this coaching program, how to listen to people and then how to guide them. And most of your questions are going to be the same type of questions. I mean, you may get the oddball one that just like Mike brought up is, oh yeah, the government, man, all the government spending is going to blow up the earth, right? Cool. Now let's dive into that a little bit deeper. Tell me why you think that. And usually you don't have to come up with this crazy question. It's simple questions like, tell me why. So, and because it didn't happen already, do you think it's going to happen now? And how much money do they spend from the time COVID hit to now? When they bailed out the renters and they bailed out all the businesses and they, spent trillions on all this masks and all this other stuff. We're done with masks for the most part now. They're not requiring all the vaccines. We're through that part of it. How come why hasn't it affected our real estate market yet? Right? So it's just, it's just simple questions. So let's dive in and get some takeaways. Xavier, tell me what you got today.
Can you hear me?
Yep, got you.
I think it's just like kind of how George said, it's just the simple questions of just asking why, because in our brains, we always feel like we have to have this elaborate question that'll just give them that aha moment when it's just like, hey, why do you think that?
Yep, you got it. Wesley, what'd you learn today? Wesley sleeping. George, go ahead.
I'm here, Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne, I'm here.
All right, I got you.
But I was a little late, but I did learn that, the questions we ask can lead us to where we need to go, right? So we're not going to be telling. And the forcing into the house thing is something, because I realized getting into the house is a good strategy for me, but you don't want to force your way in, because now you're like a creeper just trying to get into their house. So that was 2 things.
Good. George, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were going into creeping houses, but that's pretty interesting. But no, but what I realized, Dwayne, over the last 2 or 3 classes, I kind of reflected, doing real estate for, a little bit now, we've always been taught to kind of like read the script and follow a path. And you never been taught to say why or how. And then your methods is more of like, hey, but how, explain to me, what do you mean by that, or why? That's kind of like enlightened me a lot, because, and it's actually, like I said, and I know I've said this a couple times, it's actually helping me. I'm like, shit, I've been missing this for like the last 5 years. Why do I need to come out early out of the closet, man?
Right? Dang it.
But good stuff, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything.
Good. Guys, we're seeing crazy success. I really want you to know, I love people that are posting on the WhatsApp. I love seeing all these new agents picking up deals. I love seeing, all this new stuff happening. And Mike is picking up stuff and getting into listing appointments, and he's brand new agent. I love the fact that you guys are applying this. Nothing makes me happier than when I see success out of you guys. So keep posting like crazy and encourage each other to go work harder. Because in reality, if you're not selling right now, it's because you're not studying the scripts. And if you're not studying the scripts and you're not applying the scripts, that's the only reason you're not selling. I don't care what your market is, buyers or sellers market. I have people in both markets right now absolutely crushing the market and, getting deals left and right that are reaching out to Jeremy and I going, okay, I got this deal. What do I do in this listing presentation? Hey, I got this situation happening with this buyer. What do I do here? How do I help get them under contract? We've missed this many offers we've written, and Jeremy's helped written offers and gotten them accepted. And so bottom line is, you guys, you're determining your income right now by what you're doing. And if you're not pushing at the level you should be, I really want to push you guys to step up, right? To get off where you're at and go and really push on getting more contacts and practicing these scripts, right? Getting to the next level and then coming and let's role play them again. We had 2 people go through scripts today, you guys. That's it. And we were able to dissect them that deeply. So take these dissections and run with them and build upon them and figure out exactly how you could take what you've learned and apply it. Okay. Those are the big takeaways that I want you guys to get today.